So here's my thoughts on buying courses after spending $15,000 plus on mentorships and programs and really investing in myself to get to where I am here today. Now, here's what we're going to cover in today's video. My thoughts on courses after spending $15,000 plus and answering the 3 most common questions around buying courses themselves. Next, we're going to dive into my feedback from buying the courses and mentorships that I've personally invested into and what I've learned from them, the pros and cons, and lastly but not least, what I would do now if I were to invest into a mentor. Now, question 1 is, should you buy a course? And my answer to that is absolutely. Investing in yourself and learning from someone who's been there and done it is the smartest move you could possibly make, especially when you don't know what you don't know. Now, the sooner you invest into a mentor or a course, the quicker you'll reach your goals. And I've been there and I've done it. And I can say from experience that when you actually invest into a mentor, you can skip the trial and error and follow what's already worked for people who were once in your shoes. Question 2, are courses a scam? Now, this is a big one. Now, for me personally, I think that if you're buying from the wrong person who isn't trusted or respected in the space that you're trying to grow in, then of course it could be a scam. But when you invest into the right person, the right course, someone who's got real experience and results, you can really fast track that process. And it's pretty much like anything. It's about doing your research and making sure that you're learning from the right people before you go ahead and invest. Question 3, how do I know that I'll get results? Well, let me just tell you this firsthand, right? When you invest into yourself, you need to understand that what you're paying for is information. Your success will ultimately depend on how you apply that information, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that it's not necessarily what you're buying into. It's more about how you apply the information that you're buying and how you actually go about executing that. And just because you took the leap of faith or buying a course or a mentorship doesn't mean that you're automatically going to become a millionaire. Plenty of people invest into programs and still don't succeed. And most of the time, it's not because of the course. It really comes down to the individual, whether they actually apply what they learn. So now let me give you some feedback from the courses that I personally invested into and bought along the way. And let's just take it back to memory lane a minute and just show you guys from where it all begun. So here's a few pictures of myself and my family, and we never really came from money. I was brought up by my mum single-handedly with my sister. And let me tell you guys, like, it wasn't a smooth road. Like, we didn't have certain things that most kids had at that time. And, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world, but we came from nothing. And I had a mindset around buying into courses and investing into myself. So I'm really going to take you back to my sort of thought process back then as well. I played football for 15 years trying to go pro, and, you know, it didn't work out, but I didn't stop there. I still tried to, you know, pedal on and try and find my feet of where I was at. And that's where I started my first car sales role, which is up here back in 2019, with no idea of starting a business, right? Now, the thing is that lockdown hit and everything changed for me. And the reason why it changed is because I now knew that I needed to take advantage of this time and get the knowledge from people who are making these multi-millions online or are in a position that I want to be in. So I took the leap of faith and I started my entrepreneurial journey back in 2020, and I bought my first online course. Here's Jordan Platten. He is the first mentor that I initially bought my first online course from. He's an 8-figure entrepreneur teaching you how to start a social media marketing agency, also known as SMMA. Now, the type of course this was, it was a do-it-yourself program. So it had all modules in there and you would have like weekly group calls. The price point was £1,000. The course level, I would say, was probably at a beginner level at the time. Still a really, really good program. And there's a picture of me and him at an event that we went to. Then we have Aaron Branch, who's a really cool guy. He was my second mentor that I invested into, and he's a 7/8-figure entrepreneur, also been featured on Dragon's Den as well, helping agency owners to start and scale their agency. Now, the type of program that this was, it was a done with you program. So we went in person, done a 2-day event, and he coached us 1-to-1. And then I also invested into an extension program, which was like a 6-week program with other agency owners, and it's like a group setting. So that was really cool as well. Now, that come to a total investment of £3,100. The course level, I would say, was probably like a beginner level, but still really, really good mentorship program that I bought from Aaron Branch. Next, we have Charlie Morgan. Now, this was the third mentor that I invested into. And now, if you don't know who this guy is, he is a fucking weapon. I'll tell you that for sure. And he's an 8-figure entrepreneur who teaches client acquisition, systems and sales. And I learned a lot from Charlie. I'm not going to lie. Like, he really pushed the needle forward within my agency and made me hit my first $10,000 online. And yeah, Charlie's a great guy, man. Really, really great guy. So it's a done with you program. You get weekly group coaching calls, and the price point was £6,000. So this is a big jump from spending like £1,000 with Jordan Platten and then 3K with Aaron Branch. This was like a big leap for me. So I was like, fucking hell, this needs to work, man. The course level was advanced. Like, the level of detail and value that he's given you inside of this program was second to none. So big shout out to Charlie, man. Then we have William Brown. Now, this was the fourth mentor that I invested into. Big 8-figure entrepreneur, consults on how to build, grow and exit your business. pretty much everything to do with selling info online. Like, Will knows it from the back of his hand. And really, really cool guy. We had like a few good calls with him. It was a bit of a laugh as well. And the type of program that we did with him was more like a consulting package. It is a done with you program, but for us it was mainly just to jump on calls with him. We had like 3 or 4 calls. We paid £3,500, and he does have a course that goes with that, but we didn't really go through it in depth because most of the information in there we've already sort of accumulated already from other courses and mentors. The course level, I would say intermediate / advanced. Like, we did go through like bits and pieces, but we didn't, you know, smash out all of the modules that he had. But like, I'm sure that there's a lot of gems in there. Will's a really, really knowledgeable guy. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go through and rate every single one of the mentors that I've ever invested into. These are all high ticket programs, by the way. I didn't include any of the lower ticket programs that I've invested into as well, because it just doesn't really make any sense. These are the ones that I got the most value from. So to start off with Jordan Platten at the top, he was the first mentor that I ever invested into. Now, the pros with his course was that it was great to get me started. It helped me to start my first business, understand the online space a little bit better, and I learned a lot. It was a really good course. Now, the cons of this was that when it came to scaling the agency, it's not really made for agencies who want to really scale and learn new ways to attract new clients. Like, he goes into more the business model itself than focusing on like how to get clients. So for that reason, I'm going to rate this 7.5 out of 10. Now, Aaron Branch, he was my second mentor. The pros about him was that I got to see how an 80k per month agency was run in person, meeting Aaron and working with him one-to-one. This was a really great experience because at that time when I first started, I really wanted to get an in-house team, and that was the vision, and build like a big agency. And it's a little bit different now, but yeah, this was really good to see it firsthand and in person. Now, the cons of this was that I didn't really feel like it helped me as much as I thought it would have. Like, it gave me clarity, but I didn't really learn anything different from Jordan's course to what he was teaching. It wasn't really like helping me to grow the agency, right? So for that reason, I'm going to rate this 7 out of 10. Now, Charlie, like I said, he really moved the needle forward for me. And, you know, if it weren't for him, I don't know how I would have hit $10,000 a month online with my agency. But the pros to his program was that it was by far the best program that I've invested in to date. Completely changed my life, and it allowed me to hit my first $10,000 a month. Now, the reason why is because of the systems that he's teaching, and his focus with the program, or his goal, is to help you get more clients. So when I invested into Charlie, I was struggling to get clients. So when I invested into him, I got the result of what I paid for. Whereas when I invested into, you know, Aaron Branch and Jordan, I didn't really know what I needed. I just bought into them because they looked like guys that were, you know, they were controlling the space. They were big faces in the space. And I just thought, I just want to learn from them. Now, the cons of it, at this time, I would have preferred like a done for you service, but overall I couldn't fault it, because when I jumped on a call with Charlie and he closed me as one of his first like 250 students, I actually just said to him, can you guys just do it for me? Like, I don't want to go through another course. I just want you guys to do it for me. I don't mind. Just, I'll pay you and just get calls on my calendar. So that was the only thing back then. So I'm going to rate this 9 out of 10. Now, William Brown, he was the most recent mentor that I've invested into. So I'm a lot more further ahead of in my journey. Now, the pros about his was that Will was a cool guy and I liked his approach. It was exactly what most people want nowadays. Now, he provided like a one-to-one consulting package, which you don't really see nowadays with all these big faces or big names in the space. Like, you can't get Charlie one-to-one. He just doesn't do it. He sells you like a done with you program. You go through it. There's group coaching calls and all that sort of stuff, but you're never going to be able to get him one-on-one. Like, to work with Will, who does 400k a month, like, that's crazy. Like, to speak to him one-to-one, ask him any questions, it was sick. The cons about it was really nothing really to say about it. It was just more like a consulting session for us. It was more of like a clarification call. Like I said, we had a few calls, and yeah, we really enjoyed our time with Will. So for that reason, I'm going to rate it a 8.5 out of 10. Now, there is one that I haven't actually walked you guys through. Now, this guy is an absolute fucking beast. Like, he's a goat. He's a good looking guy, and his name's Reese, right? He's the goat. Yeah, he's the goat. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the pros about, you know, working with myself and what I'm looking to do, right, is I'm looking to give you pretty much a bit of everything, right? There's some people who want a done for you solution. There's some people who want like a course, and then there's some people who want you just to consult them and do like a done with you program. So, you know, I offer one-to-one coaching done with you, and I run an info product marketing agency where we provide a done for you service. And if you don't want to do it yourself, then this is definitely the option for you. Now, the cons of, you know, working with myself, there are no cons, lol. And apart from I'm good looking and I might push you a bit too hard to become better so you can make more money, That's pretty much about it, right? Now, the rating for this, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet, but I'll let you decide on that. Now, what would I do now if I were to invest into a mentor? Well, firstly, I would personally go for a done with you / one-to-one coaching offer, as you're able to ask like multiple questions, tailor your situation, and you're able to copy and paste their proven frameworks into your business. Whereas when you buy a course, it's not as hands-on. And if you're further ahead within your journey, you probably most likely know everything that's already in the course. Not saying there's nothing to learn, but what I'm really trying to say here is just that you may need a few calls just to iron a few things out, and then you'll be on your way. And I think right now, people are craving to have more of like a one-to-one experience than buy a coaching program or a course and go through that course and just become another number. Because that's exactly what you are. When you buy a course, you're just a number to that person's business. Like when you work with someone one-to-one, you're a client. You're somebody that they have your best interest at heart, right? They put their sole attention or their sole focus onto you. Whereas when you're buying a course or a program, I'm not saying you won't get value from it. You definitely will. But I feel like from my experience, like right now, the way you're going to scale fast is having someone work with you one-to-one. It might be a lot more expensive, but it's definitely worth it because you're now fast tracking your success because you've got more of that person's attention. Now, if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Instagram, just drop me a DM and I'll send you a voice note back. There will be a link to my Instagram in the description below. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.